Hey guys, welcome back. It's Russell Linville, sports physical therapist, Become a Better Human Project. And today is Saturday. That means the squats are the cure. Squats. We've gone over a bunch of different variations of squats so far. We're progressing into this today. We are going over the front squat and things I do and things I teach people to do on how to set up for this. Now, the front squat's an interesting squat variation because we're using, of course, a barbell that goes across the front of your chest. And some people don't really have the mobility maybe in their thoracic spine or their shoulders, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So we have to find variations to do this, or we have to work on mobility first. Who would have thought? Work on mobility first and then come back and try to attempt these lifts later. So, I'm a big fan of CrossFit, and whatever your opinion is, CrossFit, I don't care because I like it, but they do front squats a lot in CrossFit. And so what we see is a lot of times people come in, early on and they're not as mobile as they could be. So we want to make sure we get the baseline mobility to be able to create a neutral spine, create tension, to be able to ascend and descend without collapsing or breaking our spinal position as we descend into a squat. And the reason this is a lot different than a back squat is just because of the center of mass. Everything's shifted forward. Right? If I have the barbell in the front of my body, that's obviously going to pull me. My line of force is going to pull forward. So we need to make sure that we maintain a nice neutral spine to overcome that forward pull. And so just like we did the back squat last week, we're going to look at how do you set up for the front squat. And to make things easier, I'm going to approach the bar from the back side so you can see how I would come out of the rack here. So again, with the knurling, what I do is, and this is something that you might have to adjust based on your own body size, but I find where that knurling starts. So right here, it's about here. I take my thumb, place it on the knurling, and I spread my hand out. Good. Same thing on the other side. I drop my elbows under, one here, and I try to place the bar right on the shelves of the front of my shoulder. If you see, right now what I'm doing is, as I push my elbows forward, my shoulders create this shelf. I'm not choking myself. I'm not back this far. You want to make sure that you're not passing out as you're doing this lift. Now, if I was to warm up very, very good, I think I could keep my hands flat to the bar, right? Something like this as we go. But the more that you're immobile, so to speak, the more torque you're going to put through your shoulders. And the key here is that we want to make sure that you have good external rotation through the glenohumeral joint. You're able to depress the shoulder blades, create tension through your core, and then, of course, ascend and descend. If you don't have the mobility, either like a lot of people get wrist discomfort, they feel like their wrist is getting impinged, they're having symptoms, they might feel a little numbness, tingling afterwards, you might need to work on wrist mobility as well. If you still want to do this lift, because there are a lot of benefits to this lift, it biases the anterior chain, it's a little more quad dominant, those sorts of things, then you can approach the bar with a crossed over grip. So you would find the knurling, make sure your sternum is centered where the smooth part of the bar is, right in the center here. You approach the bar, you put one arm under, cross over, put the other arm under, cross over. The big thing here is you want to make sure that you have even weight distribution through the bar. You do not want to be lopsided, because as you unrack the weight, the bar will tilt. In this position, you should be able to straighten your arms without the bar moving. Essentially, you should be able to squat up and down. It's resting around the front of your shoulders. So those are some things in terms of setup that I want you to look for. Now, as we progress into Squaterdays, which is every Saturday, I'll eventually go over what are some mobility drills to get this external rotation back if you want to get in that front rack position. It's also the same position you'll need to be at the bottom of a clean, right? And the pre-jerk position as well. So I thank you guys for tuning in. This is the basics of a setup of a front squat. Once you get set up, ascending and descending is the same. You just want to make sure you can keep a neutral spine through that position. So I thank you guys for tuning in. This is Russell Linville, sports PT, strength coach. If you like these videos, subscribe. We'll put a new one hopefully out every day, and just give you tips and tricks on how to become a better human. Thanks.